Here's what you missed this month on the Gifted Sounds Network. Bantu-centric.
And I'm not a boyfriend, and I'm still not. Doesn't mean I'm being a bad person to them. It's just, if I met the perfect person, it's like, it's not even temptation. It's just, I'm just naturally gonna keep spending time with that person.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with eventually happening. I mean, let me be clear on where I am. Like, if something were to eventually happen between me and another person, I'm not against that. If it was like, oh, we've been seeing each other for a while now, we're both in different places now than we were when we first started seeing each other, and now it kind of makes sense that we would step into a relationship. That's completely understandable. That's completely fine for me. I guess what I'm saying is, like, I know today I'm not in that place. So even if I met somebody tomorrow that ticked all my boxes, I know I don't have all of my own personal boxes ticked. Okay. So though they're perfect, and I'm like, listen, I want you to stay in my life. And
doing the most.
You didn't call it entrepreneurship, you call it survival. You know,
sure did.
It was like, it wasn't fancy word. It was just, hey, you gotta survive. So whatever trees that we had in our yard, as we would call it, you know, they would call it, your property. Whatever trees, is mango trees, chena trees. I think they call it ginep. And different types of trees, even fig trees with bananas, we would, pick them, cut them off and go on the side of, like the main street where all the cars was passing, and people would stop. And like, I never looked at it, even as a child doing that, I never looked at it as something shameful. It was real fun, like, standing by the road and all these cars passing, and some will stop and they'll buy, give you $5, $1 bill, and, pick a bunch of chenet or a bag of the sorrel. We had, sorrel too, and peas, pigeon peas as well. And, it was just the thing. Now looking back at it.
Gentleman Jack Crack.
Hey guys, this is Candace.
This is Terrence.
You might know us from our pre-existing podcast, Well Villanelle, where we recap one of the best shows on TV right now, Killing Eve.
And you may be wondering why you're getting this preview now. It's because it seems like there's another show that may be tickling our fancy over at BBC America.
A new super sapphic show, evidently.
This is in partnership with HBO.
HBO and BBC One.
Yes, and if you're not familiar, the show is called Gentleman Jack.
Yes.
And despite the name, there is no leading man to be speaking of on the show.
I mean, there are dudes with lines, but it's all about the ands.
Okay.
Ann Lister, played by Saran Jones, the wonderful Saran Jones, and Ann Walker, played by Sophie Rundle. And they are amazing, you guys.
I can't wait to dive in. Because I know next to nothing really about what I'm walking into other than, Victorian era. Picture it.
Yes, and I've already ridiculously binged it. Yeah, that's what happened. I've seen it, and I'm going to see it more times in the course of this podcast, and just because that's what I deserve. I deserve the kind of wonderful, amazing images, drama, intrigue, romance that came from this fucking series, you guys.
It's time to elevate the standard to what quality television looks like.
I'm saying. And this show is revolutionary. I just gotta say it. It is revolutionary. It has done things that I've never seen before on the big or small screen, and that's fucking exciting, especially when it features a queer goddamn couple.
So
of women!
Exactly. No, completely justified.
Audio
so
P.
if you're not already watching this, I need you to come on board with us, and we'll
Watch
start
it with
from the
us.
beginning. Yeah.
Let's be real sports.
Lost it. Wait, I said do anything. I didn't say he was gonna win. Did I say he was gonna win?
So Sherman, saving.
He was doing anything he could to
Sherman, saving the season is synonymous with knowing when you have a fucking timeout to use.
Oh my God.
So he lost it. He kicked the nigga. The nigga in the nuts when the Cavs won their championship, right? He got suspended, and then he turns around 3 years later, calls a fucking timeout he doesn't have, so they could shoot a technical foul. He didn't save the season, he lost the season.
You see, I didn't say that. Desperation. That's what it was.
Knucklehead move.
That's desperation. No. See, and me saying all that bullshit, and I probably thought about this too late, but desperation. He was desperate.
Listen,
he was desperate. Desperate. Do anything you can to prolong the game. To get a chance.
That nigga's in
with Steph.
Pondering Nerdcast.
Now with her mother's people, but just like go on over there and see what you're gonna do. And she's supposed to be the swordswoman, so I figure, okay, send you to the land of samurai, and you can go ahead and learn about all the swords and all that over there, and then you can bring that right back home to America.
All right, I like it. So, what was it? The town that they're in, it's called Hellfire Valley. Thank you. Wow, I almost blanked out there. All right, so Hellfire Valley. What was your... Okay, well, actually, no. What was your inspiration for the town and the people in it? Because, as we know... I don't know, can we talk about spoilers?
Yes.
Yes? All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Spoiler.
So, yes, just in case. So, the townspeople tend to have some sort of like...
Super upper punch.
When we wound up fighting, he was actually supposed to get a guy named Elliot Ness, who has a lot of fighters. He trains out of Mendez downtown, Mendez Boxing Club, who has a lot of fighters. Orville Crooks, who just won the National Golden Gloves. He won the Ring Masters this year in 178. He has a good stable of fighters.
He has a ton of the fighters.
Yeah, but he couldn't work my corner because he had to go, and it wasn't a ride back for him, so he couldn't work my corner. And my fight was the last fight. So long story short, I wound up fighting by myself. When I got out there, my coach, quote unquote, tried to give me last minute pointers while I was walking to the ring. So we were supposed to be there at 5. I wound up fighting at 10.
Damn.
And you trying to give me pointers 15 seconds
before
I walk into the ring. 15 seconds.
The Defended podcast. He has a craven for it. So there's
Wait a minute. This sounds some like nasty fetish shit. Are you sure this is Doom Patrol, not some fetish channel on Pornhub.com?
Remember True Life? That's what this sounds like. I can't stop eating beards. That's what this sounds like.
He craves
my
beard
strange
hair.
addiction.
Okay, so here's my next question. Is if he's craving beard hair, how does he know the difference between beard hair or head hair or pube hair? How does he know?
Apparently he does.
I'm waiting for this with bated breath because I'm just like, what enzymes evidently exist in the beard hair that are absent from the pube hair and the head hair and the arm hair and the leg hair?
They don't really explain that part. They just
they don't anticipate people like me existing and watching this show that have questions.
They don't really
questions that
explain
need
that.
answers.
But the reason why I bring him up is because he was like, part of his story was like he wanted to be known as a villain. And so that was like he felt like he was called into action. He was like, yes, somebody recognized me. Titty Talk Show.
Do they cry?
Yes,
Why is it a mishap? All those things?
Immediate.
It's supposed to happen, but it don't.
Right. Right.
Oh,
there's that.
Wow.
Or
that sounds like a fetish in of itself for some people.
Or a guy would come and like he would shoot across the room and hit the other guy in the eye.
or he's coming and he's too close to his dick and then he gets hit by it.
I like that too. That sounds like that actually sounds like a clip worth seeing.
Right. Yes.
That doesn't sound funny.
Or
he fucked.
So pretty much like the castration one you saw. The one
I'm learning so much today.
Because there was one that I saw where it was a guy. He was like laying what seemed to be under some like bed floor or something similar to what we have in the studio here. But it was a hole cut out for his penis. But it was only for like his balls and it had like a ring around it. So her job was to come in and step on it with heels. Although stepped a little too much.
Well, did she break it?
And there was a pop. So. Villanelle.
Part of me wants you to be able to explain your way out of this mess that you put yourself in. There's nothing.
That's what. Right. There's nothing to explain. And you know what? And you know fucking what? And you know what? You guys like fuck him. Honestly. And I think he said fuck himself in that tweet where he was like, listen, I'm not even really part of it. Other women created that. First of all, how you try to take any kind of credit for Phoebe Waller-Bridge's work? Really? So for those of you who follow us on Twitter, you saw that rant that happened and it was just like me typing cliche in all caps, just looking for some fucking clarification, still kind of waiting for the clarification, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. But what did happen that was super cool is we were sent another article. And it's almost as if someone was listening to this podcast and heard that we said that we were going to get a woman expert with like 4 degrees to come up in here and talk to us about Villanelle. We're trying to get said expert to actually watch the show in full, but you know, bitches with degrees be busy. But another article was sent to us about a day or so, maybe 2 days, I can't recall.
Be sure to head over to giftedsounds.com and try a podcast today.
Keep moving.